Hello, I'm the Eternal Newbie. The extra L is for lowest. As in, today we're going to talk about the lowest ranked Dungeon Master I have ever seen. As a matter of fact, based solely on game facts, I'm going to go ahead and put this guy up as the worst Dungeon Master of all time. You know, that might be a bit misleading. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is a terrible Dungeon Master, but he's not the kind to be all like cringy and stuff. This guy's bad on a different level. I would compare playing with him to being audited, but that's not really fair. Apparently there are a few people out there that actually like being audited. Trust me, there is no one out there who wants to play with this guy. Before we start, you know what? I'm going to do business at the end of the story this week. You know, just for something different. Now, I played with some interesting DMs. So when I say this is the last DM I want to play with, that means something. I played with a DM who has had 3 TPKs in as many months. I played with a DM who was super passive aggressive when someone accused him of metagaming and spent the rest of the game talking about how I wouldn't want to metagame or anything. I even played, and I kid you not, with a DM who let his friend kill the rest of the party. This guy tops them all. Okay, maybe not the last one. That guy hates me. Let's say some nice things first. This DM is a good guy, and he's a good player. I like playing in games with him. He is a friend of mine too. At least if he never sees this video, I think. It might surprise you, but I have never told the friendly local gaming store people about these videos. Mainly because saying, hey, I'm the creator of a failing YouTube channel. Want to head back to my place, baby? Isn't as impressive as it seems. I don't know why. I'm actually 0 for 137 using that pickup line, though it could be other reasons. My point is, this guy may be a terrible DM, but he's not a terrible person. What exactly makes him so horrific? I'd rather have dental work done with no anesthetic than play with him. There's a couple of reasons. Let's start with the reading. Oh man, the reading. My boy reads more than Klaus Baudelaire. Matter of fact, let's call him Klaus. Now don't get me wrong, I love reading. I'm actually going through the old Icewind Dale trilogy right now, though I gotta say, Drizzt is kind of a jerk. I totally didn't get that my first read through. You know what's fun? Dungeons and Dragons is fun. The combat, the exploration, and role-playing are all freaking amazing. You know what's not fun? Watching someone read. Don't believe me? Try it yourself. Go to your local library and just sit there watching someone read. Do it for like 2.5 hours. Congratulations, you are now playing D&D with Klaus. You might be thinking, newbie, that is a bit harsh. We know you're not perfect when you DM, and you are totally right, I am not. I've got one of the worst memories there is. Like, I honestly have to do math sometimes to remember how old I am. When I am DM and I forget something, which happens pretty often, I do look it up. If I can't find it quickly enough, like say within a minute, I'll make it up. You can't go wrong with dinosaurs and aliens, people. The difference between Klaus and I, and pretty much Klaus and anybody, is Klaus doesn't read or do any prep work at all between sessions. This is why he spends so much time reading during sessions. I mean, why read alone when you can have an audience watching you? My guy will spend 2 to 5 minutes reading up to 12 times a session. Maybe even a baker's dozen. It really feels like he spends half the session reading the book. Want to hear the really weird thing though? At the friendly local gaming store, there are at least 3 tables running Descent to Avarice. That's what we're going through. Our table happens to be the one furthest along. It doesn't make sense, does it? Well, it does when you realize that Klaus leaves huge parts of the story out and shuts down most role-playing that lasts more than a few minutes. To be fair, how is he supposed to read while we're all role-playing around him? At our FLGS, we are totally the kiddies table. But on the rare occasions he won't shut down the role-playing, it sadly doesn't get any better. Before I go into this train wreck, I do need to warn you. There's a minor spoiler for the campaign, though it's an early one and it's pretty obvious too. So there we are, talking to this loan shark, whose brother sent us here to find out about the cult. We get down to him and he's got a spawn devil bodyguard. That's kind of suspicious, I think. Well, according to Klaus, he was totally innocent. He said he was innocent, and a few of us incited him. I rolled above a 20 with my modifiers and whatnot. Klaus said he seemed honest. I couldn't believe it either. Those of you who have played this already know, but as I found out later, the guy was totally guilty. You might be thinking, maybe he just rolled really high in deception. And that is not a bad point. Or at least it wouldn't be if it weren't for the small fact Klaus didn't roll. I'm just spitballing here, but I think Klaus totally glossed over that point when he was reading. Yes, he missed whether the person we were coming into question was innocent or not. But that's okay. It's not like this was the entire reason we were there. Are you starting to see why playing with Klaus is like running out of gas in the middle of rush hour traffic? This is honestly the only session I have ever walked out on. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to tell you guys about that one. Now, I don't actually blame Klaus for this. I was having a pretty bad day, week, month, year. Come to think of it, the 21st century has not been so great. Here's hoping the 22nd century is better. Oh, yeah. The point is, I was in a bad mood to begin with, and the fact that my favorite hobby was as fun as watching a Kirk Cameron movie marathon did not help. I wasn't alone either. No one else at the table was having fun. So, 3 players, I'll call them the Three Stooges. Keep in mind that I do like the Three Stooges, both this version and the real one. But that night, I was having none of it. So, this conversation with the loan shark, it takes about 45 minutes of real time. Because Larry, Curly, and Mo made it take that long. Within 2 minutes of being there, the loan shark had already fooled us into believing he was innocent. That didn't stop the Stooges from continuing to question him. This was annoying. But the bright spot was watching Larry's player in real life keep telling the woman sitting next to him that the loan sharking is a legitimate business choice. Her character was a cleric who called the loan shark a sinner. And out of character, Larry kept telling her how it's a legitimate business. She's like, okay, I was just saying that in character. And he was like, yeah, I know. But it is a legitimate business. It went on and on the entire time. Notice how I've said the words legitimate business a bunch of times because it is a legitimate business, I've heard. It wasn't even close to how many times Larry did. It was quite entertaining. And don't worry, she didn't seem bothered by it. What wasn't entertaining was how the Stooges kept going around and around and around and around with the loan shark, like saying the exact same things over and over again and getting the exact same answers. In hindsight, they did kind of have a point, as the guy was guilty, but since the DM didn't know this, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. We finally get to leave with the exact information we got within the first 2 minutes of meeting the guy. We have accomplished nothing in the last hour or so, but at least we're out, right? Nope. Curly promptly turns around and asks for a loan. Mo, reading the room out of character, decides to attack the guy to move things along. And Mo, if you ever watch this, thank you. The loan shark escapes and we kill the spine devil. Time to chase him downstairs. When we get down there, the DM reads the description of the room. It's kind of like a boarding house, and there's a guy passed out sleeping in one of the bunks. As soon as Klaus tells us this, the Three Stooges light up like a kid on Christmas morning. Curly and Mo both do something stupid that I don't really remember. I do remember what Larry did though. He wanted to blow a puff of air in the guy's face. That was the last straw. That's when I packed up my stuff and left. I don't really blame the Three Stooges. Klaus had been restricting role-playing for quite some time, so when they got a chance, they were full-on stupid. I've done it before once or twice. Okay, fine, maybe more than once or twice. I don't even blame Klaus for this. It's just like they say, no D&D is better than bad D&D. And to me, this was some horrible D&D. Fast forward a few sessions. A few painfully slow reading-watching sessions. And we find a prisoner in a dungeon. Mo doesn't trust him and wants him to strip to prove he doesn't have any weapons. He doesn't want to strip, and I can kind of see the DM's point here. I mean, this guy is in a dungeon cell. They most likely searched him before they threw him in here. Mo insists. That was apparently the DM's straw because, much like me a few sessions earlier, he just quits. He's like, I'm not going to sit here and let you do stupid stuff to my NPCs again. Apparently after I had left the other game, they caught the loan shark and shaved his head for some reason. I don't know why, because D&D? The DM tells them he is sick of our stupid stuff, and he doesn't say stuff. So he packs up. Mo actually offered to leave, telling the DM, you know what, you're just mad at me, just keep going, I'll go to a different table. But Klaus blamed all of us, and he gets out of Dodge, though he did later apologize. Honestly, I was kinda happy he left, because for weeks, none of us had been having any fun. It was seriously like, do I have to go play D&D? Can't I just stay at work? And I don't like my job. I spent some time debating on whether the title of this video, Worst DM of All Time, was too clickbaity. I even talked about it on my Discord. Klaus was bad. He didn't prep, and he pushed through the role-playing mostly, but he did one thing that, in my opinion, puts him in the category of Worst DM of All Time. He wasn't having fun. That really showed, and it seeped onto the players, like a fungus. We even offered to DM when we saw this and give him a break, but he always said no. And for you aspiring DMs out there, that is what it is all about. No matter what, the thing that matters most is everyone, even you, have a good time. If you remember that, you're going to be ahead of the game. So, the title stays. And if it just happens to get a few more people to join the Newbie Nation, excellent. And to you, Klaus, buddy, I will give you the same advice I gave my guild leader a decade ago in Guild Wars 1. If you're not having fun, what's the point? What was your worst experience with a DM? Let me know in the comments. Or tell me anything you want. Likes, comments, all that stuff helps. And I was only kind of joking about being a failing YouTube channel, so any attention is much appreciated. Especially subs, and hitting that little notification button. But that's just as of recording this. By the time I actually upload it, I could be the next Grumpy Cat. Or, dare to dream, Star Wars Kid. Either way, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, as always, play your character. Don't let your character play you.